Journalists, human rights groups and other activists enthusiastically welcomed the awarding of this year's Nobel Peace Prize to two reporters at a time when media around the world face new pressures and crackdowns from the authorities.Friday's announcement awarding the Peace Prize to Maria Ressa of the Philippines and Dmitry Muratov of Russia marked a rare bright spot amid growing harassment of reporters in many parts of the world. Another threat is the rise of misinformation, even in established democracies, the Norwegian Nobel Committee said. Some comments about the decision to honor Ressa and Muratov. Dmitry Muratov and Maria Ressa personify the values of press freedom and the reason it matters. These are journalists under personal threat who continuously defy censorship and repression to report the news and have led the way for others to do the same. This Nobel Peace Prize is a powerful recognition of their tireless work and that of journalists all around the world. Their struggle is our struggle. Joel Simon, Executive Director of the Committee to Protect Journalists. No society can be free and fair without journalists who are able to investigate wrongdoing, bring information to citizens, hold leaders accountable and speak truth to power. Yet anti-media rhetoric and attacks against media workers continue to rise. At the same time, while technology has transformed the ways in which we receive and share information, it is also used to mislead public opinion or to fuel violence and hatred. Falsehoods trump facts, and this cannot become the new normal. Free and independent journalism is our greatest ally in combating misinformation and disinformation. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres.
Like so many journalists around the world, Ressa and Muratov have pursued the facts, tirelessly and fearlessly. They have worked to check the abuse of power, expose corruption, and demand transparency. They have been tenacious in founding independent media outlets and defending them against forces that seek their silence. And, for their commitment to the basic principles of the free press, principles that are indispensable to a healthy democracy, they have faced constant threats, harassment and intimidation, legal action, and even, in the case of Muratov, the death of his colleagues. Ressa, Muratov, and journalists like them all around the world are on the front lines of a global battle for the very idea of the truth, and I, along with people everywhere, am grateful for their groundbreaking work to hold the line, as Ressa so often says. US President Joe Biden. The Foreign Correspondents Association of the Philippines congratulates journalist Maria Ressa on being the first Filipino to win a Nobel Peace Prize. Her win is a victory for press freedom advocates across the Philippines, which remains one of the most dangerous countries for journalists. Reporters routinely face online harassment, local newsrooms face pressure to self-censor, and regional journalists remain the most vulnerable to violence, including detention and killings. We hope that Ressa's win drives international attention to the plight of the Philippines' local media workers, and sends a signal that a free, unstifled and critical press is necessary for healthy democracy. The Foreign Correspondents Association of the Philippines. We can't be too naive about what the repercussions are going to be. It's not like Rodrigo Duterte or Vladimir Putin are going to be stopped in their tracks by having one of their antagonists elevated in this way. But I think it does energize the community of advocates and supporters and readers of independent media to recognize that this work is incredibly important, that it has a fundamental role to play in the fostering of peace, democracy and thriving civil societies. Suzanne Nossel, the CEO of PEN America, a free expression group. It's a powerful statement against the harassment and persecution of journalists just for doing their jobs in the public interest. Journalists have gotten a lot of criticism, a lot of heat, and I think what people often forget is that journalistic freedom is about the public's right to know. It's not really about journalists' rights. Stephen J. Adler, chairman of the Reporters Committee on Freedom of the Press. For more than 3 decades, Maria Ressa has worked tirelessly as a journalist in the Philippines, carrying out vital investigative reporting on corruption, abuses of power, and human rights violations in President Rodrigo Duterte's deadly so-called war on drugs. As the co-founder of Rappler, the highly lauded and uncompromising online news site, she's opened the world's eyes to the brutality and pervasive impunity in the Philippines. Put simply, she is a global icon for press freedom. Dmitry Muratov has been a rock for free media in Russia, his newspaper producing hard-hitting, fearless journalism in the face of mortal danger in the country's increasingly perilous press environment. He is one of the few who continue to hold power to account. We salute the indefatigable professionalism and courage not only of Mr. Muratov, but of all those Russian journalists who have suffered while carrying out their professional duties. Agnes Kalamard, Secretary General of Amnesty International. She has sacrificed her own freedom for the rights of journalists all over the world, and I am grateful to the Nobel Committee for shining a light on her incredible courage. I hope the Philippine authorities will now stop persecuting her and other journalists, and that this prize helps to protect the press around the world. Amal Clooney, Ressa's London-based lawyer. A painful strike to the Russian authorities was made, because the freedom of speech and the principles of independent journalism are an evil in the eyes of Russian authorities. They fight with it, especially now, when dozens of journalists and media got a status of foreign agents. The world community can see and appreciates all this. Moscow-based political analyst Abbas Galyumov. Maria has been an inspiration to the world as she fought for the truth and for her rights, and in fact the rights of free people everywhere, as the leader of Rapala. We know she has a smile on her face this morning because she is almost always smiling. We do too. The Nobel Committee could not have picked a better person to represent journalists. She reminds us of all that is best in our profession. Her drive for truth and her passion and determination are impressive to witness. Her voice reminds us of our role in democracy and of our place in the world. This award could not come at a better time, as a free press is being attacked across the planet. Lisa Nicole Matthews, President of the National Press Club, and Angela Grayling-Keane, President of the National Press Club Journalism Institute.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.